the meanest floweret of the whale, the simplest note that swells the gale, the common sun, the air, the skies, to you the opening of paradise. Even today, the animal kingdom remains as interesting as the time when man first began its systematic study. During the course of evolution, the skin in vertebrates has undergone remarkable modification associated with the life habits of various species. The integumentary system in amniotes shows interesting variation as the exoskeleton. The term exoskeleton is slightly deceiving. Exo means outside or external. Skeleton means the framework. In simpler terms then, exoskeleton means the external framework of the body. In reality, the exoskeleton is a derivative of the integumentary system and is quite dead. The various types of exoskeleton examples found among amniotes can be broadly classified under two heads: epidermal derivatives, dermal derivatives. These creepy crawlies with bumpy, warty, parched skins. Don't just ugh them away. Reptiles have curious stories to tell about their skins. Reptiles survive in extreme climates, and their body is covered with protective keratinized scales which are epidermal in origin. These scales are periodically molted or shed gradually along with the rest of the stratum corneum. The lizard's body, lean and long, a fish's head, a serpent's tongue, what a length of tail behind, and with ever-changing livery. Of the lizard family, Calotis is the most common garden lizard. The epidermal scales are small and overlapping with each other. Another interesting modification of the epidermal scales is found in the horned toad, which is actually a lizard. Its horns are specialized scales. Claws are hardened corneal growths which occur at the end of the digits. True claws consist of the dorsal scale-like plate, the unguis, covering a ventral plate, the subunguis. This whole structure then caps the bony tip of a digit. The rattle of the rattlesnake is a series of dried scales loosely attached to each other. The last scale always remains despite the molting. The slow but steady wins the race. Turtles and tortoises have amused children and grown-ups alike. In these reptiles, the epidermis forms substantial plates of horny material, the scutes. The scutes cover the bony scales of the carapace, the top, and the plastron, the bottom of the shells. The beak of the tortoise is composed of a modified epidermal scale covering the jawbone. Tortoises have claws too, which are like other reptilian claws and are shed periodically. Dermal derivatives, like dermal scales, are found in reptiles. In tortoises, they are bony plates that fit closely together or overlap to form the dermal skeleton. This is rigid, remarkably developed, and attached to the true skeleton. Crocodilians are poignant reminders of the reptilian era on planet Earth. They still carry a rather grotesque-looking epidermal exoskeleton on their person, and if one may add, with tremendous dignity. They don't seem eager to get rid of this cumbersome attire either, so they shed it in superficial patches in intervals of time. In crocodilians, lizards and snakes, dermal scales are small and localized on parts of the body. Birds of a feather do indeed flock together. It is the feather that lends an ethereal touch to the aves. The feather is a specialized epidermal structure appended to a thin, dry skin. Feathers are major keratinous structures and are molted periodically. Definitive adult feathers are of three basic types: contour feathers, phyloplume feathers, down feather. The contour feathers, including flight and tail feathers, define the body outline and serve as aerodynamic devices. Phyloplumes or hair feathers and plumes or down feathers are used principally as insulation. Colors and patterns in feathers serve as protective coloration or for sexual display. The proud peacock struts about showing off nature's rare bounty that is in his share. In peacocks, the phyloplumes are very long. Geese walk with a waddle, and they waddle while they walk. The skin of the webs in the aquatic birds is also quite scaly. Their webbed feet help them to effortlessly glide on the water surface. Their feathers protect them from the water, and one never finds water on a duck's back. In birds, horny scales cover the tarso-metatarsus and the 4 digits of the foot. The Ramphatheca is also of the same nature. The spur of some male birds is a bony projection covered with a scale-like sheath. Mammals are the highest evolved among the animals. Mammalian scales are usually associated with hair. Hair is the special modification of the epidermis and is found nowhere else in the animal kingdom. The most important function of the hair is insulation against cold. Claws, nails, and hooves found in nearly all the mammals are hardened corneal growths which, like in other amniotes, grow parallel to the skin and occur at the end of the digits. Claws are true claws akin to other amniotes. Nails, found in mainly primates, consist of a broad, flattened unguis with the subunguis reduced to a vestige under the outer tip. Hooves, the characteristic feature of the hoofed mammals or ungulates, are exaggerated nails. Horns are hardened corneal projections. Horns are found in certain mammals. The keratin fiber horn is unique to the rhinoceros. It consists of a cone of keratinized cells that grows from an epidermis covering a cluster of dermal bumps or papillae. These fibers, somewhat like hair, grow from the papillae, and the cells between the papillae produce a cement that binds the fibers together. Hollow horns are found in ruminants. Hollow horns consist of an extension of the frontal bone, a permanent part of the cranium covered by a horny layer. Antlers of the deer family aren't integumentary derivatives at all. The antlers of the giraffe are small and remain permanently covered with skin, unlike the deer antler, where the covering of the skin dries and is rubbed off by the animal once the antler is fully grown. Mammals exhibit various callus-like pads that develop on their skin. These pads form due to friction. Ischial callosities of monkeys are thick coverings of the ischial portion of the hip bone. The knee pads of camels are similar in nature. The cat family has soft pads on their soles. Their ability to pussyfoot by retracting the claws is due to these pads. Tori are prominent on the hands of the human embryo, but they disappear before birth. Their location is marked by the fingerprints and by friction ridges on their palms.